The Captain's Log Radio with your host, Captain Jonathan Moss.
Hey, welcome to the Captain's Log Radio. I'm Captain Jonathan Moss, and this is our Tackle Box Tip segment presented by Icon Coolers. This week, I've got Captain Johnny Stabile, Mr. Johnny Exotic himself from South Florida Fishing Charters, and we're talking about using live bait. Now, Johnny, I know what we're going to talk about. I have a great idea where you're going with this because I see this all the time when we're doing our live bait charters. I don't do live bait charters often, but if I have clients who want to chase bass and use shiners, that's an opportunity where I've got shiners hooked up. I've got them in my rod holder, and you're sitting and you're watching and you're waiting and you're anticipating that bite, but you can't be in a hurry. Johnny, take it over, man. What you got?
Yeah, I see this on a day-to-day basis. And my biggest tip when you're fishing live bait, whether you're fishing shiners that don't really move around a lot, or you're even fishing big saltwater pilchards that do move around a lot. On my lake, I fish live shad, which do move around about a little bit, but not too little, not too much. I see people that when the bait gets chased, they pull the bait away thinking they already have a fish. I always tell people it's crucial to always leave a little bit of slack in your line, which is contradictory to what you normally hear. Is watch that line, wait for that line to really shoot out. Give it an extra second or two. Make sure that bait is all the way in the fish's mouth, and then just load up the rod. You don't have to do a really hard hook set when you're fishing live bait, even though it's fun. Just a moderate hook set is good, and you will lose a lot less fish that way.
Yeah, so you said something that I think is crucial, okay? You said having slack in your line. The reason why this is important, it gives the fish freedom. The bait gives the bait fish freedom to swim around. It's going to act more natural. If your line is tight, it can only go so much. It might pull, and that the predator fish might see that and go, that thing's acting weird. It's swimming around, but he's not going free. Okay. I see a lot of guys, and we do it offshore, where we have a live bait and we put our bail is open and our finger is on the line. So if that bait needs to go, it can still move and take line, but we can also feel the difference when the fish eats that bait and swims off. Same concept here. If Rodney's doing the work for you, Rodney's the rod holder, you got your rods in your rod holder and you got some slack in your line, when that fish eats that live bait, you're going to see your line move. You're going to see that slack tighten up. And that's an opportunity to give you more time to pause, allow the fish to eat the bait, and then come tight. If you're using circle hooks, don't you dare set that hook, because what's going to happen? You're going to screw it up. You just got to turn the handle. But if you're using a J hook, Johnny, you nailed it. Today I was using a size 2 for those shiners for the bass. You just come tight because that fish has it in his mouth. It's in his throat, and you're coming tight. Now, I will say, as you practice this, you don't want, if you plan on releasing fish, you don't want to wait too long because you don't want the fish to swallow it and get it in the throat. Studies have shown that the fish that are released that have the hook in their throats, if it's not removed gently and you're really injuring the fish, those fish have a greater chance to die during the release. So there's a balance there. Be patient enough to let the fish eat it so that you can have a good hook set, that you don't pull it away from them, but don't wait too long because you don't want the fish to swallow and get the hook in the throat. But you also said something else. If you pull that line too soon, okay, you're pulling that bait away from the fish. He might not have it yet. He might be chasing it. And if you pull that bait away from the fish, 9 times out of 10, that fish is gone. I can't prove that number, that 90% chance, but majority of the time you are spooking that fish. He ain't gonna eat it because all of a sudden that bait is acting unnatural. So good stuff, dude. Good
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
Thank you.
Love it. Hey, Captain Johnny Stabile from South Florida Fishing Charters, and I'm Captain Jonathan Moss, and this is the Captain's Log Radio and our Tackle Box Tip segment presented by Icon Coolers. I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to the Captain's Log Radio with your host, Captain Jonathan Moss.